Hey guys, this is Joshua Peterson with Peterson Electric here today. We're in Littleton, Colorado, working outside here in a beautiful yard for one of our customers. Basically, we're installing a bunch of low voltage lights right now for them, and they're having some issues with the bulbs are good and the photo eye is good, and so is the transformer, but the connections are bad. I want to talk to you today about low voltage wiring, which is 12 volts, sometimes 24, but mostly 12. Anything under 85 volts you shouldn't have to worry about getting shocked unless something's really gone wrong. Here today on this system I want to show you if you're not getting a good strong clean copper connection. Try to bring this in the light, and you see really pure copper going there, and you see any kind of black or like a grayish look through the strands, because it's a really fine strand. It's probably almost a 22 to 32 strand. The gauge wire can even be from a 10 gauge to 12 gauge or even an 8 gauge to get some of that voltage out there. Some of the reasons why low voltage wiring fails is because of the potential of that pressure. It loses its voltage drop through bad connections, and that potential, that pressure of the voltage starts to dwindle real quick, especially at such a low voltage. And when you're drawing like 50-watt bulbs, it'll really start to dwindle quick. So right here I can show you really a poor connection here. Somebody used some typical blue wire caps that you get at Home Depot, and they're not even rated for outdoor use. These are something you'd use in commercial with some 10 gauge wire. Another connection a guy made right here, if you can see this, nothing's taped up. That's a poor connection as well, so water's getting in there. Here's a good connection. I use the right wire caps. Probably won't share with you exactly what wire cap there, because that's kind of what we do, but we've also taped them up as well. And there's a special compound inside of there that keeps the strands from actually deoxidizing and or basically just getting wet and starting to corrode. Kind of does almost like what your car battery does on a 12-volt car. It just starts to corrode in there. So anyways, here's a better connection, and again, you can do this hot. You're not going to get shocked. The worst you'll do is blow up your transformer. So as you can see, that's lit in my hand. This 12 volt, I like to test my stuff hot so I know before I put the light in and tape up all those connections that I'm actually good. So again guys, we do those simple projects for yard lighting. Keep it in mind, if you're going to tackle it yourself, make sure that your wire depth is deep. And if you hire a guy that says, oh, I do low voltage wiring, he's not an electrician, be careful. There's many times I've come out in the yard and I've had to diagnose an area where one side of a yard is an island and the other side of the yard is a peninsula, and the next thing you know, the wires traveling through the yard actually end up getting cut up by the aerator guy who comes in with his machine, starts poking holes there about 3 inches deep. So you got to be fairly deep on your wire when you're crossing like that. And if you're going in through your bark and everything, you got to make sure you get that tucked in so that doesn't get nicked either when you're putting your stakes or even your silver siding in there. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you're placing your lights, you got to make sure that your transformer over here can handle the load. So your transformer should be correct wattage for how many bulbs, what type of fixtures, and also how far away, considering your gauge of your wire, larger to smaller as you end at your last light. Thanks guys for joining us. Sorry this video was a little long, but a lot of good tidbits for outside lighting. Give us a call if you need any help. We do this kind of work. 720-641-8866. We'll see you next week.